7 p.m. April 21st. Ordinance committee meeting. Petitions by citizens on non-agenda items. Number 2, committee meeting payments. Everybody should have a hand out here. The mayor brought this up. The utility meeting, I guess.
Correct.
And it was talking about if Michelle, or the city clerk, who is Michelle now, but it would be a city clerk in the future, would do the minutes for all of our committee meetings, and then they would get paid a certain amount of money for that. After the first pay period of May of 2025, which will be coming up here very soon, the committees, the chairman jumped from 50 to 100, and the committee people jumped from 35 to 75. So the idea was we could make the city clerk, who is now Michelle, at one of those levels. Correct?
Correct. So actually what you'd be doing is adding the city clerk as a member of every committee.
Exactly. Sorry.
How you, if you pay her, if you pay that person $75 or another amount, that's probably what you should decide was needed.
Well, I would like to, I personally like that. I think it's a value for our city, the city clerk. We all do a great job with minutes. We all do. But we all do them differently. There's different layouts. There's different, I mean, Michelle has proven that she does really good minutes, and I hope that all the future city clerks stay to that same standard. So personally, I would like to add her as a member of all committees, and then I think the 75 per committee meeting for minutes would be the appropriate amount. And you mentioned there was a cap somewhere.
There's always a cap. You can only be paid for 12 committee meetings per quarter.
So 12
You
meetings?
guys don't get that, but I do almost every quarter. She would be.
Because you're a part of every committee, so, yeah, and
You might get that pretty quick.
I get,
for the 5 minutes, which is not normal, that's abnormal, but yes.
I get her every quarter, so.
Yeah.
We've been having a lot of meetings. I don't know if
We
this
have.
we will continue or if it's gonna slow down.
Well, when
Go to sleep.
when you took over, Mayor, we had a lot of committee meetings, and then it wanes for a while, and for whatever reason, I don't have a lot more.
Right. It will wane again, so.
I think it's a value for the city to have her doing those minutes. They get uploaded onto the website. They're going to look better. I have no problem with it.
And I think it's 100% given to her.
But they don't have to be selected, they're at the same spot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll still have to approve them. I mean, we're going to approve, but yeah, I think it's an easy thing.
I like that the format is all the same she'll be using.
Yeah.
Where every alderman here who is chairman has some format they use, it's a little different.
Correct.
I'll make a motion that we accept Michelle as a member.
Well, the city clerk.
City clerk.
The city clerk, yeah.
City clerk, as a member of every committee and take minutes.
Was she maxed out in that recommendation as well?
Yes.
Okay, so that's,
Everybody maxes out. It's just that she maxes out at the same time for every meeting like I would.
Kyle, based on what you have in front of you, I heard the motion and the second.
So the city clerk is a committee member, takes notes, 75 per meeting, maxes at 12.
I think it is actually, you have to add her.
Per quarter.
You got that in there, don't you?
Yeah, max per 12 per quarter.
And she's a member of every committee.
Yeah, city clerk is a committee member. She can take the minutes, the rate.
It's actually just going cleaner just to add her as a committee meeting, as a committee member, and then she would follow the regular.
Yeah, follow the rates and the rules of that. Okay.
We have to add another line to our paperwork where you put down the committee members' names.
Yes.
All those old ones are obsolete.
Well, we could just draw a line out there, right?
Why
Just
is it 12?
You continue to do the work, you just don't get paid.
All in favor?
This was a suggestion from either Russ or Kyle.
No, I
It
said
was a great idea.
I said something about it months ago, just as I They're terrible back minutes.
Your ordinance.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye, absolutely.
Any opposed? All right. Number 3, I believe, will be the mobile vendors. Okay. Hopefully this is easy. Everybody has the ordinance in front of them. So it used to be food vendors, and then we updated it for mobile vendors, and this has been on the books for a while. Over 8 years ago was when the whole ordinance was built, and then there's been a few minor changes. As it stands right now, at the farmer's market that's at the annex building, or whatever you want to call it, every weekend they have the standing farmer's market between, I don't know, April and November or something, you know, whenever they have it. They have a couple trucks out there selling coffee, and one I think even sells flowers, and technically that isn't allowed. The idea for that one would just be to, under 710, write down on the first page, right at the beginning, city-sponsored or city-sanctioned special events. If we could just add the Monroe County Farmers Market into that list, then there's other things in there, the Port West Vodka, the fair, the Homecoming Pumpkin Fest, and a few other. I think it would be cleaner because Sarah gets calls from the farmers market. They say, hey, when we read this technically against the rules. We've kind of just said, it's the farmers market for all hours. You're providing value to the city. Go ahead and do it. But I think it would be cleaner to add however they name themselves, Monroe County Farmers Market or whatever, to that. And then secondarily, the fairgrounds, we have on there the Monroe County Fair. The fairgrounds has an event, like the opposites have, I think it's the bull ride, or no, it was the monster trucks, and they had a ice cream truck out there, they had food, like, I personally, the spirit of this thing was to keep competition away from the brick and mortars. I don't think something going on a Saturday night or a Saturday morning at the fairgrounds on 156 is a problem, personally. So again, if we just wanted to put in there, if you're in the Monroe County Fairgrounds property, they can have food or mobile vendors as the big states. So that's basically the idea, because Sarah gets calls, and she said, well, you can do it, and then, they said, well, technically, if I read this right, we can't do it. So to clean it up, I would like to add the Monroe County Farmers Market and let the fairgrounds be able to have mobile vendors.
The farmer's market also occurs on Mill Street.
Once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put Monroe County properties on there instead of fairs. Fairgrounds.
That was my thought.
Yeah.
Monroe County Fair.
That way it encompasses
Yes.
just not the fair.
Where their whole fence goes around, you gotta pay to get in. Inside of there is a sanctioned area or whatever. Was my thought. Sure. Now, obviously, we're talking about 2 different things, so somebody could be okay with one and not okay with the other, and that's fine.
So we're giving a green light to the fairgrounds to let somebody do a food truck Wednesday at this point?
I guess theoretically, they thought that they could get enough business to do it, and it was worth their time, I guess.
I guess it's not in the city center or whatever, so it's not. Just thinking
Yeah.
what that green light said to do, if they want to.
They can do that, though.
Yes.
If we wrote this down, yes, they could. Does one food truck want to drive out there when they can go to more heavily populated cities? I would be surprised, but yes, now they can do it.
Well, I mean, over in St. Louis, they'll have, get an area, and they'll bring in 10 of them, have a band and whatever for an all-day event.
I think
And I just think
they do that fair.
Right.
I was looking on a random Wednesday in July
Right.
at 11 a.m. wouldn't be the same thing as 10 trucks and vans, in my opinion.
But they could.
But they could do
But they
that on
could.
Saturday
That's
or
right.
Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon.
They could.
Do you want to hold it to, not that there's competing farmers markets, but do you want to just say farmers markets or Monroe County farmers markets?
They have a name. They
Yeah,
don't.
whatever name that they
That's what I mean. I don't know what their name is. I could have asked.
So does the name change?
So they have a specific name?
They do.
Yeah.
It's just Monroe County
Because I would
Farmers.
imagine they,
It's just Monroe County Farmers Market.
I would imagine they have an overarching LLC or something, or a corporation that has liability policy or something, and that would be the one we would target for this. But if there's, I don't know, care, I just don't, not aware.
They have a lot of auctions on their fairgrounds too. So that would fall underneath that umbrella,
Swap and sells.
when you have a,
Animals every
Yeah.
Sunday.
So if somebody wanted to bring a food truck out there for those, now they can do it.
I don't think we're stopping there.
And that was kind of the thing.
We're gonna stop.
I think they've already been doing that, and that's kind of why we're trying to
Just
do it.
roll an animal around.
Yes. Yeah, sorry.
I do have one more question, you know, council's maybe.
No, right.
Says or sanctioned event approved by city council. So Randy's comes and gets their permit, that's a sanctioned event, they can do what they want? Or do they have to say, hey, we're gonna have a food truck and we have to approve that?
So currently, if Randy's has an event, they have to operate, that food truck is on their sanctioned event
Right.
space.
Yeah.
And they have to pay with one check. This, Randy's has to pay the vendor.
It's not per person,
Correct.
they're selling stuff.
We need to look at that more.
Yeah.
But that's how we operated when, like,
So
since I've been here.
Gary Phillips wanted a food truck at Summer German for his wedding reception.
Sure.
So at that time, it was 6 years ago or something, the way we got around that one was you're providing it, you write them one check and it's like they're catering the event.
Right.
They can't go up one time or another. But I think there's been a time where that hasn't been the case more recently.
Yeah, I can think of you,
Yeah,
I don't wanna mention that.
that's kind of what I'm saying. I think that hasn't always been the case here in the last 24 months. So it's probably something we should look into.
So how clarification would you need to ensure that we?
I think.
Well, the two things I think we're talking about are fine, but the thing Joel brought up would be something we need to
Sanctioned
look
event,
into.
I think if they're going to sell food on premise, that it should be in the application, and if, as long as we approve it, then we're good.
And then actually, we don't need to talk about it, we just need to pay attention to the application in the future.
Right.
Exactly.
And
So no changes.
you would have,
We would make no changes on
you would
those.
have, actually have to have your existing waiver.
Well. that's
So-
what I'm saying.
Sarah gave me a memo that was from 2023, and it says, as part of city-sponsored special events such as Pumpkin Fest and special event permits that are approved through city council, they are allowed to take individual payment. So I was incorrect on that Randy's one.
But that means that any bid would actually has to go to the county.
Yes.
And it does because it requires a street closure.
Okay. You can't just park something outside.
Correct.
For no reason.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Takes a while.
But so like, the reason the farmer's market came up is because they're on private property. And so when you look at that, they should be falling under the private property line item in this ordinance, to where it's supposed to be where one person pays and they're supposed to be giving it away then. So that's what we're trying to correct here.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey Kyle, does the food vendors that park up by the Roll King, are they excluded from that too?
Well, so since they're not in a truck, a lot of times they put out like a little stand or something, I believe that is
I
technically.
know it's private property, that's why I was just asking.
Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah, that's something that's different, and also they don't pull it behind their truck.
I'm not saying I'm against it, I was just saying, you know, somebody will bring it up.
It's
Yeah.
been brought up, and we just kind of looked the other way, as long as they got approval through Rural King to be in that parking lot.
So, do we wanna update it for the farmer's market and the fairgrounds?
Yes, sir. Motion to.
Jim's making a motion, Mr. Hopkins? I'll second that. Mr. Brown? Dave? What time is the public hearing? 7:20? Okay, we're gonna do 7:20. and farmer's market and fairground.
Get them all.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Comments?
I took it off, I would still look to create a property committee and do that in a future board meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do it the first Monday of May.
Depending on what you have time, yes.
They go to mile. I think that is actually. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Russ, second. Mr. Hopkins, thank you. All in favor? Out at 7:16.